Sometimes we got to just rattle our own chains and get very clear on why it's a must, because then when you do, you move needles. I think now more than ever, your motivation is everything. Think about it. As you're watching this video, if I said to you, what are your top 3 goals right now? You might say something around your health. You might say something around your finances. You might say something about your relationship. You might say something in your career. And I would say to you, okay, great. It's one thing to say, this is what my goal is. Today, in this environment, in this pressure cooker situation that we're all in, I think it really requires 2 things. I think it requires faith and getting clear on why it's a must. When I think about faith, I watched a video recently by Tony Robbins, and Tony, who has inspired all of us for years, he said, now more than ever, we need faith. We need to, really accept the fact that things are going to be okay and have faith around that. And the example he used was that 1.4 million people die around the world every year in an automobile accident. 3,200 people die every single day, the equivalent of what tragically took place on 9/11. That happens every single day, and yet we have the faith to get in our car and hurl down the highway at 60 to 70 miles an hour, and we don't even think about it because we have faith, right? It's human. It's like breathing for us. We just got to remind ourselves that I have faith, that I can do this, that I can achieve my goals, that it's going to work out because I'm willing to do the work. And the second one is you got to dig a little deeper on your motivation. And I was just on a session with a client who said to me, I really want to lose weight, and I really want to create a better health and vitality situation for my children that are overweight, my husband's overweight. Like, what do I do? And I said, you got to write down the question, why is getting healthy an absolute must for you? Like, why is it a must? Not something that I'd like to do, not something that I should do, but instead, like, really get into it. And I said, and I want you to think about the positive things that happen when you do it, and I also want you to think about the negative consequences for not taking action, right? Like the negative consequences if you don't do it. And she was very honest. She said, my parents both had diabetes, right? They had health issues. I'm borderline diabetic. My husband is already there, and we're doing it to our children. Think about that. And here's the beautiful thing. Like, I know she has the faith that she can do it, that her husband will make the change, that her kids will make the change, and that she could be the catalyst for moving the family forward. But it always goes back to, why is it a must? Right? Not something I'd like to do, not something that'd be great if I did, or it's going to be really hard because they're not going to like it. Sometimes we got to just rattle our own chains and get very clear on why it's a must, because then when you do, you move needles. You know it and I know it, right? Tristan, who's behind the camera right now, says, I want to buy a house. And you know what he does? He starts creating videos with a promo code for something he was passionate about, and the next thing you know, he makes X tens of thousands of dollars doing this because suddenly buying a house, right, was a must for him. It wasn't something he wanted to do, wouldn't be something that was nice to do. He and his wife, Stephanie, sat down and said, what would it take? And he's like, I could go do all this extra side hustle work. I could do something that I'm totally passionate about, and bam, they bought a house. You with me? You are unstoppable, my friend, when you realize faith, right? Not even from a spiritual standpoint, just the faith that you are the kind of human being that can move mountains. And then when you get certain as to why it's an absolute must, you will absolutely move that mountain. You will crush that mountain. And now is the time. Now more than ever, share this video with a friend or two, watch it 6 or 7 times, and like literally punch yourself in the head and say, let's get to it, because the world needs you to step up.